Whoa, okay, so for those who have been missing the more angry, ranty version of Zeon, you guys are in luck because holy shit, episode 8 was goddamn terrible. I'm talking like episode 5 goddamn levels of bad. In fact, in some ways, it is a lot worse than 5. Yeah, you know how like episode 5 took like a 7-minute segment and just stretched it over a 22-minute gap? This episode takes a 6-minute segment and then stretches it over a 22-minute gap. This episode basically consists of 4 segments. Vegeta's rage out against Beers, the Pilaf gang escaping in a boat, Oolong playing rock, paper, scissors with Beers, and Goku showing up to confront Beers. First things first, the animation was pretty goddamn weak in this episode. Made even worse by the fact that this was an episode with an action set piece. Now, it's nowhere near episode 5 levels of fucking terrible, but it was still weak. It was not good. It was not impressive. There's nothing engaging about the visuals. It was a very bland looking episode, which was off-model from time to time, not horribly bad, but still nothing impressive. As for the actual events of the episode, just like in Battle of Gods, Vegeta goes all rage boost on Beers and gets the shit kicked out of him. I fucking hate this in BOG and I fucking hate it here. The reason I fucking hate this segment is it makes no goddamn sense within the context of Dragon Ball lore, like what has already been pre-established. Vegeta does not have a rage boost. Gohan has a rage boost, and he's the only one who does. That is something that is unique to his character specifically. Vegeta, on the other hand, does not. And before anyone tries to point out, well, we've never really seen Vegeta rage out. Bullshit. We saw him flip the fuck out on Cell whenever future Trunks was killed. You wanna know how much of a power increase he got? Nothing. He got dropped like a bitch. So yes, I was really kind of crossing my fingers hoping that he would go SS3. Now a lot of people want to make the argument that SS3 is a completely useless transformation at this point and that Vegeta obtaining this would do nothing to improve the story or his character, especially considering he's going to be getting SSG SS not long after this. And I say that is completely fucking wrong. The reason being is, if he actually obtained SS3, it would make some kind of sense that he was able to surpass Goku. And though the line is missing from the Muten Roshi about him surpassing Goku, Beers does state that Vegeta gave him a better fight than Goku did on Kaio's planet. So once again, Vegeta did surpass Beers. The only thing that really makes me feel better about this is the fact that he put on less of an impressive show against Beers this time. He connected fewer hits, they looked far less devastating, and Beers seemed way more unfazed. But it still doesn't change the fact that Vegeta was able to surpass an SS3 in his SS2 form. That was just bullshit. Then there's the Pilaf gang escaping. This scene serves no goddamn purpose. Really, the Pilaf gang have served no goddamn purpose in this saga. Especially if this is how they're leaving the fucking saga. Like, if this is just it for them and this is the last we're seeing of them in this arc, that's bullshit. They should not have even been here to goddamn begin with. And I do throw around some dialogue about, oh no, we forgot the leftovers and there's still Dragon Balls on the boat. Maybe we should go back. If they do come back, fine, whatever. That makes the scene even more pointless because it was just padding for the sake of goddamn padding's sake. There wasn't even a fucking joke in this scene. And speaking of lack of jokes, there's the Oolong rock, paper, scissors scene. This scene was in the extended cut of Battle of Gods, and only in the extended cut. Yeah, out of all the things they could have taken from the goddamn extended cut, they take the Oolong rock, paper, scissors scene. They didn't choose to take the line of dialogue about how Kaio can restore his planet, you know, something that would have filled in a fucking plot hole. No, they took the rock, paper, scissors scene. Thank Kami that they did not leave out the rock, paper, scissors scene with Oolong. And thank Kami again for them extending it out to 10 fucking minutes. This scene was not funny in Battle of Gods, and it is really not funny here. Like, in Battle of Gods there was kind of a joke, like, oh, well, pigs have hooves, so he thinks you can only throw scissors. And then Beers overhears the whole thing, and it's over in like a minute and a half. It's really not that intrusive. It's not really funny, but it's really not a terrible scene either. Here there was no goddamn joke. And they keep building it up, and there's a lot of dead space in between with a lot of tension building music, but there's no fucking tension in the scene. Why? Because it's a fucking rock, paper, scissors match with Oolong. This arc would not end on something that ridiculous. Even if you haven't seen Battle of Gods, you know for a fact that this is not how this saga is going to end. Oolong isn't gonna go, ha, paper, and Beer's gonna be like, well, fuck, you beat me, bye. So it drags it out. Like, yes, this scene is very intense for the cast of characters within the show. It is not intense at all for us, and it's also not funny. This entire sequence is so tonally confused. It plays this dramatic music as if there's supposed to be a lot of tension in the scene, when there is none, and there really aren't any jokes, but it still kind of plays off as if there are some humorous bits going on. There's nothing here. It's bad. I fucking hated this entire sequence. Then we get to the climax of the episode. Beerus creates this huge energy ball, he's getting ready to just completely wipe out all of Earth, and there's some genuine emotion going on in this scene. Like, everyone's just filled with despair, like they are defeated. There's nothing they can do other than just stand there and watch this god just completely obliterate their planet. And the music does a great job at conveying this. It's just really sad and just filled with so much despair, and you just feel it kind of oozing throughout this scene. And then they completely fuck it up by juxtaposing that with Goku returning, and they play the fucking Gotenks theme. Now the Gotenks theme is really weird sounding in general. Like, honestly, it sounds like more like a theme that you would hear in the background of a cutscene from Sonic Adventure than you would in Dragon Ball. So it's jarring and out of place in general, but you know what? For Gotenks, it kind of works. Whatever, he's a kind of a silly joke character, give him a silly joke theme. But for Goku's big return, here, it doesn't work at all. Yes, Goku's return theme should be really lighthearted and bouncy to juxtapose the ominous despair of Beerus about to destroy the Earth theme. But it should also sound triumphant because this is our hero's return, and not like this goofy bullshit we got in this episode. It completely just breaks the scene, it's weird and jarring, and it sucked. It was a very poor choice. And just like in Battle of Gods, you know, Goku's like, wait, Beerus, don't destroy the planet, we're gonna use the Dragon Balls to try and find the Super Saiyan God. And the episode just ends there. Yeah, this episode was fucking terrible. Like, the only scene in this that I can actually call good is a scene where Beerus was about to destroy the Earth, and like I said, it had that emotion, it had that feeling, it had that despair. But then, like I said, they completely fucked it up with Goku's entrance and that dopey-ass music. So I can't even give it credit for that. Now that being said, there is one thing that is of merit in this episode. Beerus states that after Vegeta went all rage boost on him, that this has been the first time in a while that he's actually had to use 10% of his power. So we finally have some kind of idea of how strong Beerus is. That he has been using about 10% of his power. There have been so many people who have telling like, Beerus is like 1,000,000 times stronger, 1,000,000,000 times stronger, he's a god, he's infinitely stronger, his power level can't even be fucking measured. But now we have a number, we have something to apply to this. So you know what, there is at least that one little thing of value in this episode. And that one little bit of information is actually very integral to me making a follow-up video to the Super Saiyan 4 versus Super Saiyan God video, which I actually am going to do now. In fact, I am going to be fast-tracking that video so I can get that shit out before anyone else beats me to it. So yeah, that is one positive from this episode. It gave me a number to attach to Beerus so I get an idea of how strong he is, which also provides me with some material to make another video out of. So really, honestly, I'm getting more out of this episode than the average viewer is. Just on those grounds alone. And even then, I still say this episode was fucking shit. Is it worse than episode 5? In a lot of ways, yes, it really is. Its story, its pacing, so many elements of this are just garbage. It's a bunch of fluff, it seems completely dragged out. The only thing it really has on episode 5 is the animation. And the animation really isn't even that good. And really, when it comes to all those pacing and story issues, they're actually worse than episode 5 as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, it's kind of on par. It's a tie. Like, I really don't know what the hell Dragon Ball Super is doing. I don't. Obviously, the writing staff doesn't either. And clearly, they're not communicating with one another when they're writing these episodes. Obviously, they're just giving Toriyama's manuscript, and some of them are just like, oh, well, I just need to take this scene from Battle of Gods and stretch it out for 22 minutes. And that's what some of them are doing. Hell, that's what most of them are doing. And then there's a few, like whoever the hell wrote episode 6, where they're like, okay, I just need to stretch this out to a full episode, but instead of doing a complete copy-paste of Battle of Gods, just drag the fuck out, they're filling it with new and interesting things, so that way it isn't just a complete fucking bore. And the worst part is, I am not expecting great things for the future episodes. Because honestly, from the Vegeta Rage Boost on to the end, is where I really started hating Battle of Gods. And it doesn't look like they're going to be changing things up from Battle of Gods in any meaningful way, so I expect to fucking hate the rest of this goddamn arc. I have nothing to look forward to. Fuck. I'm Zeon. Peace out.